What's going on, everybody? This is going to be our final Q&A. It's going to be on the Becoming an Apex Trader Orderflow video that we put out last week. Once this video is over, that is the entire series. The whole series will finally be finished. So if you guys have been waiting on the series to be fully out for you to kind of get into it, this will be the last video for this series. So today I'm going to take some questions on anything regarding the Q&A, or sorry, anything regarding the order flow video. I'm also going to take some questions from the comments if there were any. We'll go over a few concepts here and there. And yeah, that's going to be it. We'll do some giveaways at the end. We'll talk about, we'll do some giveaways for Apex accounts and Addis accounts as well. There's going to be a 30-day, basically full access for the entire platform. We'll do a couple of those. We'll do a couple of Apex account giveaways as well. And that's all we got. I'll give you guys a couple minutes and then we will get started. Normally we do the Q&As at the end of the market, so we're not distracted. But since this is an order flow video, I wanted to have the live data coming in. And thankfully today, we've actually had decent liquidity compared to last week. Last week we had really bad liquidity. It was trading like 5-10 contracts per tick. Today's not bad. Today we're actually getting like 30, 40, 50 contracts per tick. The tape is actually readable. It's not just blue orders every single order, right? You have a couple of blue orders here and there, but it's actually readable. We're actually seeing clusters, right? It's not too bad. We had a couple of examples of the things that we talked about in the order flow video happen today. We had a little bit of exhaustion. We had some around like that 12 o'clock candle. We had a lot of absorption today, which it's hard to see in hindsight. But we did have a lot of absorption on these highs, which now they don't look like absorption because they did break. We had some absorption of the bearish contracts around like 725. That ended up obviously playing out to the upside. But yeah, all this is a little difficult to see in hindsight. I'll do my best to go over it. All right, let me go ahead and pull up the comments from that video, see if we had any questions in the comments, and then I'll take some live questions as well. All right, let me see if I had any questions from the live stream here. Or sorry, from the video. Then we'll get into the live stream. All right, so we don't have too many questions in the comments, which I guess is a good thing. I guess you guys understood the concepts from the video. Doesn't give us too much to talk about today, so today might be a bit of a short stream. What I'm going to do today, even though we don't have too many questions, is I will go back from like the start of today, and we'll try to find as many patterns that have happened so far from the start to around whatever time it is, like 2:30, right? Like I said, teaching these in hindsight is very difficult. For example, today we had a ton of absorption happen, mostly the buyer delta being absorbed, but we can't really see that now because they're not really absorbed anymore. So I'll do my best to show what patterns we can still see. But all right, let's take a look at some questions from the video. I'll get the easy ones out of the way first. The first one was they were asking about the bottom right chart. That's just a market profile chart. You don't use that too much in your order flow analysis. How you would use that when you are looking at order flow, like watching the delta, watching the orders come in on the tape and the DOM, how you would translate that to the market profile chart is when you are seeing, like actually right now is kind of a good example, when you are seeing a node and you're seeing how those orders are coming in on that node, you want to be monitoring kind of who is controlling that node. So for example, we see this node right here at 724, 725. We want to be monitoring these orders and seeing, okay, where are they allowing the orders to get to on the high side, and where are they allowing the orders to get to on the low side? That will create kind of the value high and the value low of that node. So for example, right now, we are pushing up to like 26 to 27, but we're not really seeing a whole lot of buying above 27. Like we had a little bit of buying at 28 here, instantly came back down. A little bit of buying at 28, instantly came back down. Okay, so we can establish that 28 is kind of the high of that node. We saw some buyers step in multiple times at 28, like right here, 28, 28 and a quarter, 28.50, but then it came back down to 27, 27 again, 26, so on and so forth, back down to 25. Same thing the first time. We had 29, 28, back down to 27, back down to 26, back down to 25. Okay, so we can establish that is the high of the node, around 28. Same thing for the low of the node. What is the lowest it keeps allowing before it bounces? And you kind of have to go back here because we didn't really watch this live. But basically the lowest that I'm seeing on these pullbacks is somewhere around 22, 23. Give a little bit of 21. I saw it earlier. Yeah, 21 right here. 23, 22, 21. A little bit of 19. But mostly it's around that 22. It looks like it keeps going down to 22 and then it bounces. Okay. So we've established that the low of that node is around 22. And the high of that node is around 27 to 28. And that is the rotation. It's about a 5 to 6 point rotation. So, now that we know that that is the rotation, we need to look for a break of that balance. Are we staying above 28? Are we seeing a bunch of orders coming in 29, 30, 31? Are we seeing a break of balance to the downside below 22, right? Below 20. We see in 19, 18, 17. Now, right now, we're not, right? Right now, we're still within that balance. We failed 28 yet again. We saw 28 get traded right here. And now we went back down 26, 25, 24. So the sellers are still rotating this node. It does not mean that the sellers are in full control and they're going to keep nuking the day. It just means that they are doing their part and we are rotating back down. Now, right now, what we're looking for is, okay, we understand that the high of that node is once again around 28. The low of that node is around 22 to 20. Is there a break of that rotation? Are we seeing a bunch of buy pressure coming in at 25, 24, 26, whatever, right? Is the buy pressure coming in earlier than it should have been, right? Than it should be. Right now, we don't have an answer to that because we're seeing a normal rotation. So we're not seeing a break of balance, a break of rotation, a failure to rotate, whatever you want to call it. So right now, this is a very standard balance around this node. So now that we continue to go lower, here's that 22. We'll keep an eye on 20 as well. Do we see the buyers coming in? Because we established that normal rotation from 20 to 22 as the low, up to 26 to 28 as the high, we need to see those buyers coming in from 20 to 22, right? We've established that as our value low. So we need a bunch of buy pressure down here, or we need to see a lot of sell pressure below 20. That would be a break of balance. So you're looking for either the rotation to continue or the balance to be lost. And that's what we're looking for on the tape. We're watching those orders come in. Are the buyers coming back in from 20 to 22? So far, yes. Look at the tape. The tape is turning green again. So once again, we're just building that node. There's nothing crazy happening here. We were expecting buyers from 20 to 22, and we are getting buyers from 20 to 22. There's nothing out of the ordinary happening. Now let's predict a little bit here. Let's say the buyers keep coming in, and then it goes back to that node, the node's POC, right? The node's POC is around, let's just say 25, 24, somewhere around there. And then we start seeing a bunch of selling coming in. That would be a problem. Because that would mean that we are failing to rotate. We are not going back to 28. The sellers are coming in a little bit early. They're starting to sell the POC. Think about it as like a D-shaped day, right? You treat every single node the same way you treat a D-shaped profile. We want to go from value low to value high, but what happens if we start selling at the POC? On the way back up, right? That's a failure to rotate. So that's what we're looking for here. If you start seeing a bunch of selling happening around 25, 24, that should not be the case. We should have seen consistent buying from 20 to 22, like where the value low would be, all the way back to 26 to 28. So we'll let this cook a little bit. We'll let some more orders come in. We'll come back to this in a few minutes. We'll see what happened. But that's what you're looking for. You're looking for either a failure to rotate, too much sell pressure coming in around that POC of the node, or like not enough buy pressure coming in from 20 to 22, right? The value low of the node. We'll come back and we'll take a look at this. A couple of things I wanted to look at in the meantime is we had a couple of examples of absorption and exhaustion happen today, which is a little hard to see in hindsight, but I'll do my best showing where it was. We had a little bit of absorption. I think the very first absorption was, where was it? It was right here, I believe. We had a lot of absorption on the high of this candle, where it started out as absorption around like 88 to like 85. You had a lot of buyer delta coming in. You can see the node. The node is very strong. We had a ton of delta coming in with that like 4 to 5 point area, and it just wasn't going anywhere. They kept getting stuck on that high. Obviously, finally they broke. You started seeing that break out of the high, and then we had a bunch of value being found to the upside. That was kind of the break of balance. We were supposed to see sell pressure there because that was towards the upper extreme. That was towards the value high. So if we were a balanced profile, we should have seen a bunch of sell orders coming in there, a bunch of bearish delta coming in, and then pushing us right back down. We obviously did not see that. We had a bunch of top-heavy bullish delta trading on the high of that candle, which if it's not being absorbed, it is implying that it wants to break balance to the upside, extending the upper tail. And that's exactly what we did, right? We stayed above that cluster, and we started pushing our balance higher. We started pushing our value higher, I should say. Now, this candle, this 1030 candle, you saw kind of more so what you should have been seeing. We wanted to see seller delta towards the high of that candle. Sellers should have been keeping that candle down. And that's what they were doing for the first part, right? You had a bunch of seller delta coming in around that 700 area. But, obviously, in hindsight yet again, we started building value above that cluster. So notice this cluster right here. All of this bearish delta right here. If that delta is actually controlling the day, controlling that current price, we should have been seeing value building up below that cluster. Because what do sellers want? They want the price to go down. That doesn't matter if they are opening or closing. Both times, sellers want the price to go down. If I am opening a new short, I want the price to go down. If I am closing my long, if I'm turning into a seller, closing my long, I also want the price to go down. Because if the price goes up, that means I was wrong. That means I sold too early. So in both cases, sellers want the price to go down. They are not getting that, right? You do not see a bunch of value building below that cluster. Therefore, we could make the argument that they were either being exhausted or absorbed. Now, at the time, they were being more so absorbed, and then it pushed higher. Okay. Now, we almost had the same thing happen the next candle, on the 11 o'clock candle. We had a lot of seller delta coming in around that like 712 to 713. But they eventually got what they wanted. Price did go down. This was more so an exhaustion of the buyers. Because once again, look at this cluster. We had a bunch of bullish delta on the high here, but the volume was falling off very rapidly. As they were pushing up, the volume just collapsed. They got exhausted. They could not find higher value. So they eventually came back down. And this was the first major break of a 30-minute low the entire day. Now, in hindsight, it was not a break. It ended up being an exhaustion. They reclaimed the 30-minute low, and it came back, right? It turned into a sweep. And I do not consider sweeps actual breaks. They protected that low. So same thing here, another pattern of exhaustion. We had a bunch of bearish delta coming in, but as they pushed down, which that's what they want to do, right? If you have a bunch of bearish delta, that they want to go lower. Like I said, it does not matter if you are opening as a seller or closing as a seller. In both scenarios, you want price to go down. If I'm opening a short, I make money if it goes down. If I'm closing my long, I also want it to go down, so maybe I can buy again. I don't want it to keep going up because that means I was wrong. I closed my long too early. I sold too early. Now, in this case, the volume fell off a cliff, and obviously it turned into a sweep. Those sellers got stuck, and then they got squeezed out. Not a very obvious squeeze, because typically with an obvious squeeze, you want the delta to flip, and you want it to flip very strongly, very quickly and very strongly. And it didn't really happen here. Yes, you did flip. You had a flip of bullish delta here. You had bullish delta here, here, and here. So obviously above that bearish delta, there was a lot of bullish delta, but it wasn't clustered together. It wasn't very strong. It wasn't very fast. So it wasn't an obvious squeeze. They were just kind of trapped, and they had to get out of their trade if they were still holding. Another thing we saw today, which we didn't talk about too much in that video, was the wall. We had a big sell wall at 715. It traded over 4,000 contracts, and it might be easier to see. What time was that? 12:30? It was right here. So on my delta chart, this chart forms a new bar every time there is plus 500 delta or negative 500 delta. And we can see on the delta chart, it's very obvious where that wall is, because it trades, forms a new bar, because there's so much delta. Forms a new bar, forms a new bar, and it keeps doing that until we finally tick above that wall. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 500 delta bars hitting that wall without a single tick trading above it. And then we finally ticked above it on this chart here. And then obviously we went higher. But that was a sell wall. We know it was a sell wall because, once again, going back to that video, what did I talk about with the difference in orders? If there are aggressive buyers, which we see on that bullish delta, we have all this bullish delta here, that means there is a major difference. If we add up all the market buys and all the market sells, we have a massive difference to the buy side. There are many more market buys than market sells in this case. What do market buyers trade into? They trade into limit sellers. What is a limit seller? If it has a massive order that is not being traded through, that is a wall, right? So we have a massive limit sell wall at 715. Once again, we know that because it's the difference. It's the opposite, I should say, not the difference. It's the opposite of the delta. So we have a massive amount of bullish delta, meaning there is a massive limit seller. So there's a sell wall at 715, and this was one of the walls that gets taken out, and it's actually right? The buyers are right in this case. Sometimes you'll see a liquidity move where, yes, it will take the wall out, but it will only take the wall out by like a point or two and then come right back down, because they were just grabbing the liquidity of that wall, and now we are going back down. Now, obviously, this was not the case here, because they took that wall out and they damn near never traded below it again. Even now, we are not trading below that wall. That wall is at 715. Might be easier to see when I put it on the tick chart, but it's the same thing here. Not a single tick, not a single tick, and then you have a tick above it right there. So we know that that was a sell wall. Other patterns that we got today, that was basically it. We don't have any other obvious patterns on the delta flow. Okay, so going back to what we talked about earlier, I said I was going to let that cook for a little bit. We're going to come back to it. So earlier I was talking about building up that node and how they established that the bottom of that node should have been around 20 to 22. Therefore, we should not be seeing a lot of consistent selling around that 20 to 22. Now let's go back a little bit here. So we had a bunch of selling around 24 to 25. We should not be seeing that. It's like I said earlier. If we are rotating and continuing to build this node, you should be seeing it buy back to the upside and get back to 28 or 26, whatever you've established is the high of that node, before seeing that selling back on 25, where that node is building up around 24 to 25, right? It's okay if you see selling there on the way back down, not on the way back up. So on the way back up here, we were seeing a lot of selling. 26, 24, 24 again, 23, 22. Right. So they did not allow this. Look at the 1 minute chart. This confirms it. They did not allow this to rotate back into that 27 to 28 where we're calling the value high of this node. So this is obviously a bearish bias because they are controlling that node bearishly, and now they are seeing even more sell pressure below that 20 to 22, where we established that would be the low of this range, or the value low of this range, right? So if you think about a value low in a rotation, there should be buyers there. Are we seeing buyers down here from 20 to 22? We see a little bit of buyers here at 22, goes back to 24, back down to 22 to 23, back down to 22. This is where it starts to get a little bad, because you start seeing a lot of sellers around that 22. We should not be seeing that. If this is the value low of the range, it should be mostly buying. Basically, the colors here should be flipped. It should be mostly green with a little bit of red. That's not what we're seeing. Okay, so then it goes lower, back to 20, back to 19, 21. The buyers try to come in pretty strong here at 20, but then selling comes back in. Like I said, you should not be seeing these large clusters of sells when you are at the what you would call the low of the range, or the value low of the node. It should be very little selling, not clusters of selling. So now we're even going lower, 18, 17, 16. A lot of buyers coming in, but it doesn't matter. We're already so far below what we considered the low of that node. So at this point, the buying is mostly profit taking. We're not seeing the clusters of buyers protecting that node. So now we're back to 17, 16, 15, and now we're caught up to live. Okay, so you see what I mean? If you were reading that live, you would have seen a lot of selling where you should have seen a lot of buying. You should have seen clusters of buys with a little bit of sells here and there. We were seeing the opposite. We were seeing clusters of sells with a little bit of buying. Now, in a price action standpoint, not an order flow way of looking at it, what does that look like? Well, that's why I have the 1 minute chart over here, so we can see what it looks like as a price action trader. Those little buys that we were seeing come in were bouncing us back to the ADMA, aggressive selling. Little buys back to the ADMA, aggressive selling. Back to the ADMA, aggressive selling again. Okay, so that's how you turn what you're seeing on the tape into the price action, into the 1 minute chart. We saw those clusters of sells and just a little bit of buys. And that looks like this right here, aggressive selling. And if you turn that into a 30-minute footprint, we can see those clusters of sells on our delta chart. They are building up these strong volume nodes with these strong clusters of bearish delta. Does that make sense? Okay, so last question Last question from the video, then I'll get into some live questions here. They said absorption and exhaustion is mainly a sign of potential price reversal and market structure change. Are exhaustion candles more likely to be revisited due to low volume? So basically their question is, we look at absorption and exhaustion mostly in the sense of a reversal trade. We're looking for those zones to create reversals. Can they also act like magnets, pulling price back to them? And the answer is yes. Absorption and exhaustion, and today is a great example of this, are not always seen as only reversals. A great example, if you go back, I believe I was live streaming when it happened. Where was it? Yeah, it should have been on the live stream in the morning today. Today is what, the 22nd? 24th. So if you guys are watching this afterwards, it's November 24th, 25. If you go back to the live stream, you had a lot of absorption, a lot of delta coming in on that 10 o'clock to 10:30 candle, but it wasn't a reversal. They were not able to reverse that and build a bunch of sell pressure below that node. It was just kind of a stopping point where it was acting as a sticky node. Price was kind of stuck to it until we were able to build value above that absorption. Therefore, it was no longer absorbed. So it's not always a reversal, right? If they're just sticking to that level and they're not finding the opposing delta, it can still win in the favor of the delta. So in the favor of this move would have been bullish, and that's what happened. So they don't always have to be reversals. They can just stick to that area and eventually win. Now, the other part of the question was, can we look for these exhaustion candles to be revisited because they are kind of LVNs? Now, I would say that they are not directly magnets because the magnets are the high volume nodes. Those are the magnets that pull price back into them. What I will say is if there is a strong reason to go back in that direction, maybe single prints, maybe VWAP being retested, whatever. If you have a strong reason to go back into that direction, then you can look for those areas that got aggressively exhausted before. You can look for those to be retested as like a target. Maybe it became like a poor high or a poor low or something like that. It's kind of like how I teach single prints, where I say that by themselves, they are not telling you, hey, we have to come back down to fill these single prints in. But if there's some other reason for you to be going back down, maybe a rollover top, maybe a sweep on the high, whatever, like there's some reason for you to take that trade, then single prints can be a great target. We're seeing that right now. So right now we have, once these alerts go away, there are single prints below us. Now, I'm not saying because there are single prints below us, we have to go back down. But if there was some reason for us to go back down, maybe that little move that we just had, we could target those single prints. So they're not the force making us come back, but they could be a good target. Now, as I was explaining that, we just had another sell wall. We had another very large sell wall at 20, trading, I think it was like 4,000 contracts. Now, let me show you what it looks like on the tape. It was actually very short, so you didn't get to see it too much. So normally when those walls are not being traded into by massive block trades, and it's taking a bunch of smaller orders to fill that wall, it will take over the entire tape. And I think I have an example of that. Let me show you. Yeah, here, right here. So this is what it looks like when it's taking over the entire tape, because there's not a bunch of massive block trades. 69, 69, 60, like the whole time, 6,900, the entire way up, until you finally tick above it, 6,950, right? That's what it will look like when the wall is either massive or there's just not block trades to chip away at that wall. Now, in this scenario, we had two major block trades eat up that wall. We had a 700 block trade and an 1100 block trade. So half of that wall got taken out by two orders. That's why it didn't take over the tape like my other example. But okay, that was it for the questions from the video. Do you guys have any questions from the live stream? Obviously related to order flow. If so, go ahead and put them in chat. And then after I finish the questions from the live stream, we will get into a couple of giveaways. We will be giving away 30-day access licenses for Addis and also some Apex 30-day accounts as well. So here's a question from the live stream. How do you look for exhaustion on range bars? Well, I wouldn't be looking for those type of patterns on like range bars per se, because the absorption and exhaustion patterns are best seen on just a normal footprint chart, because you can see exactly how those volume and delta nodes are being built up, or the lack of them being built up. I wouldn't be using a range chart for that. There was another question that somebody asked me about different ways to see liquidity. Is it just the tape, or could it be other ways of looking at it? And the main ways of looking at liquidity are the DOM, like the level 1 DOM, the level 2 DOM, the tape as well. If you have it set to signal level 2 orders, in my case, the blue orders are hitting the level 2. So as long as you have it set to color code when you are trading above the best offer and below the best bid, that's a way of seeing liquidity. And then you guys are probably familiar with heat maps, right? There's a bunch of different platforms that have heat maps. Addis has a heat map as well. And that's mostly when you're looking at the level 2 liquidity. So you are looking at the resting order liquidity. You would also be able to take it even further. You could look at like iceberg liquidity, where they're only showing you 100 contracts, but maybe there's 1,000 contracts resting below that. So you could use level 1, level 2, heat maps, or the time and sales. Now, I am not an order flow trader in the sense of like that's like the only thing I do, or that's like the main focus of my trading. I'm sure you guys have seen different streamers or different videos where 90% or like 100% of their stream is just tapes or DOMs. That is a order flow trader. Like that is what they mainly focus on. If their charts look like that, they don't care about candlestick charts. They don't care about volume profile. They're just looking at these two things, the tape and the the DOM and the tape, and that's covering their entire screen. And maybe they're looking at it on, let's say, ES tape, NASDAQ, oil, gold. They're looking at the bonds, etc. And they're kind of seeing the flow across the different markets. You typically see that with institutional traders. If people are working at, like, say, what's one of the big ones, like SMB or something, and they have videos from their floor, or not their floor, sorry, their firm traders. They'll put videos on what their screens look like, and they'll just be covered in DOMs and tapes. That's because they're 100% an order flow trader. I am more so using order flow as a positive or negative for my standard trading. It's providing a higher strike rate or a lower strike rate to my trades. Yeah, Axia, yeah, basically any institutional streamers or traders, they'll have systems like that. How do you turn on level 2? Well, you have to have level 2 data, which I do not pay for, so I do not have level 2. First off, you have to get the data, then you can turn it on in your DOM. I can't show you because I literally do not have the data. I don't pay for level 2 because I personally think it's distracting. I personally do not use it in my trading. The only level 2 that I use is when it's hitting the tape, when there is a level 2 order being traded. I don't look at resting level 2, which is probably like 99% of what people use level 2 for. I think resting level 2 is distracting. Now, there are many traders that use that as like their main form of trading, so I'm not saying it doesn't work. It doesn't work for me. Okay, I'll give you guys one last chance. Do you guys have any final questions? There was one question about my templates. If you guys are a Discord member, go to my settings and templates channel. I have all of my templates there. If you guys are not a Discord member, I believe Addis, they might still have one of my older templates in their official Discord. If you are outside of that, I do not send out my templates. Mainly because I change my settings on damn near a weekly basis, and I do not want to have to keep sending out my templates every single time I make a change. No, I didn't see your question. Let me see here. You said, can nodes be used as invalidations, like a 30-minute candle node that bears and bulls form? I don't exactly know what you're asking. The node itself is not the invalidation. It is how the price is trading around that node. Like we just saw in the last like 30 minutes or so, we were supposed to be, quote unquote, rotating that node around 20 to 28. We were constantly rotating that node. So we established what should have been happening. We established that there should have been buyers around 20 to 22 and sellers around 26 to 28. So if something is breaking that, there is a problem. And there could be a trade there. Which in your case, that could be an invalidation. So it's not the node itself, it's what is happening to build that node or to reject that node. Something like that. Are we seeing an exhaustion now on the 30-minute? Yes, you could say that. The delta was decently strong on the way down, a lot of bearish delta, but our volume fell off a cliff on the bottom there. Mm-hmm. Oh, that was another question that I did get asked, was for crypto, how would I recommend transferring how I'm looking at order flow right here on futures for ES and NASDAQ into crypto? I can't really give you guys an answer for that because this comes down to what I have found is relative to our current volatility and how we are currently trading in our ES and NASDAQ market. I have not been day trading crypto for a long time now, so I don't know what is the quote unquote norm for the crypto volatility and liquidity and the ticks and the points and all that stuff. So I can't really give you guys an answer on that. You have to trade it on a daily basis to understand, oh, okay, that's our normal volatility. And now we're trading way higher than that or way lower than that. So no, I do not have like a basic template for crypto that I can give you guys, unfortunately. Okay, last chance. Do you guys have any more questions? If not, we're going to get into the giveaways and we're going to call it a video. This question is more so volume profile, not order flow. They were asking, why am I using the New York hours for the TPOs and not the full session? That is because, as I covered in that volume profile video, I believe, market profile was designed for the cash hours. Most people using market profile are using it as a cash indicator. I do use the full session and pretty much every form of the profile. I use the pre-market, the full session, the cash. But the market profile, I only use the cash because that's kind of how it's designed to be used. Yes, I think these order flow techniques work the same way across basically every asset. Gold, oil, NASDAQ, ES, Bitcoin. The problem is what we were just talking about. You have to establish what is relative to that instrument, to that asset. You have to establish what the norm is for your tick size, for your volume, for your volatility, for your liquidity. You have to figure out by day trading it what the norms are for those. But the patterns, like the exhaustion, the absorption, the walls, the block trades, that is all fairly common on all of the assets. Okay, as you can hear, my voice is getting shot, so we're going to call it there. So now we're going to start the giveaways. So let me get the giveaways ready. Then we'll do a little outro, and then we will call it a series. That'll be the end of the series. I hope you guys really enjoyed this series. I would say I enjoyed making it, which I kind of did, but some of them were kind of a pain. It wasn't the easiest series to make, that's for sure. But I definitely think, looking back at the videos, I think I did a good job. I think that I got my point across. I did what I wanted to do. I did what I set out to do. Maybe here and there I could have done a little bit better, but overall, I think I did what I wanted to do. So that is definitely a positive. Okay, let me get the giveaways ready. Let me go see, because they did tell me how many accounts I could give away for Addis. Let me go double check on that. Okay, they said I can give away 3 Ultra licenses for 1 month. And then I have a promo code for you guys. If you don't win and you would still like to sign up, I have a discount code for you. So thank you to Addis for providing that. So we're going to do a lot of giveaways here. We're going to do like 5 giveaways. I'm going to do 3 giveaways for the Addis licenses. Then I'm going to do the Apex giveaway. Then I'm going to do a Discord giveaway. So there's only 50 people in here, so 10% of you guys are going to win something. So we'll do 5 giveaways. Like I said, first 3 winners are for Ultra licenses, 30 days. And then 4th winner will be Apex. 5th winner will be Discord for 3 months. I'm giving away quarterly Discord. And then throughout the week, throughout this week and next week, I still have more to give away. I'm still going to be giving away Apex accounts, and I'm still going to be giving away Discord access as well. And then finally, because the series will be ending today, I'm going to give you guys, not until the end of this week, but the end of next week, to send me all of your tickets. So make sure to just watch the first like 5 minutes of all the series videos. I talk about the giveaway details. Just make sure to follow those details to get entered in the laptop giveaway. Yeah, I'm going to be using the same number for all the giveaways. We're just going to keep re-rolling it. So you just pick one number. It will be too confusing if I don't do it that way. All right, give me 1 second. Let me get it pulled up here. Make sure to have your emails ready, because I'm going to have to confirm that it's actually you to send you your stuff. So have your emails ready. And by the way, I still need to cut up the other videos, the Q&A videos. Those should all be cut up in the next few days. So the series will be like 100% finished in the next few days. Alright guys, there's only like 50 people here, so let's do 1 through 75. Or actually, everybody's probably not going to participate, so 1 through 50. We'll just do 1 through 50. So pick a number 1 through 50. Everybody pick one number. It does not matter if you pick the same number as somebody else. You both will win, and then I'll just pick the actual winner. We'll do another re-roll. So pick one number 1 through 50. Like I said, the first 3 winners are going to be for 30 days Ultra licenses from Addis. The 4th winner will be for Apex. The 5th winner will be for Discord. I'll give you guys another minute or 2, and then we'll start rolling. Just pick one number. If you pick more than one number, I'm just going to disqualify you, so don't waste your time. Like I said, if you have the same number as somebody else, don't worry about it. We'll figure it out. By the way, just talking about price here for a second. We're retesting that wall, which became the POC. As long as we protect that wall, which is at 715, you're still safe to go back up. It's kind of like a bull flag right now. If you do lose this POC, very obvious target would be the single prints, going back down to 91. Yeah, by the way, guys, these first 3 wins are for Addis. So if you guys already have well, never mind. Ignore what I was about to say. It's just going to get confusing. I was going to say don't participate, but I'm using the same number for all 5 giveaways. So we'll figure it out. Like I said, next time we do a series like this, I'll think of a better way to do these giveaways. This is the best way I can do it right now. If you win and you already have Addis, I'll give you an Apex code instead. How about that? Yeah, Discord's the big prize, so I can't just keep giving out Discord. Okay, let's see here. Who was the last person? Last person right now is Greg. I'll give you guys like 30 more seconds. Yes, the Apex code will be for any account size. It basically gives you a 30-day no charge, and then it charges you full price if you let it renew. So if you don't pass the account within that 30 days, you want to go back to the brew code. Okay, unless somebody puts in their code right now, Greg is going to be the last code. Or the last number, I mean, sorry. I'll give you 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, Greg is the last number. TN, I'll let you get in because you didn't win on this roll, so I'll let you get in. But that you're the last guy now. Okay, so first one is 5. Leo. Is there anybody else? I think just Leo. Am I missing anybody? Leo, do you already have Addis? This is for Addis for 30 days. This gives you an ultra license. Basically, you have full access. Oh, is there somebody else that had 5? Let me see. Sorry. Lee, do you have Addis as well? If Lee also has Addis, I'll re-roll it to find the actual winner, and then I'll give whoever wins an Apex account. If Lee doesn't have Addis, I'll just give him the Addis trial. Are you still here, Lee? I'll give you like 10 more seconds. I gotta do these fast, because we're doing 5, right? It's gonna take a little bit. Last chance, Lee, are you here? I'm gonna give it to Leo if you don't respond, Lee. You got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, Leo, you're winning by default. Send me your email, or don't post it in chat. Here's my email. There you go. Send me an email and just let me know, hey, it's me, I won the Addis giveaway, and then I'll give you an Apex code instead because you already have Addis. All right, I'm going to roll again for another Addis account. Oh, sorry, you guys didn't see that. It was 40. You guys got to be quick. I'm not going to sit here waiting because I have to give away a lot. And the market's open right now, so I'm kind of missing a lot of action. I don't think there's a 40. I don't see a 40. If I miss your number, just let me know. 16. I see like every number but 16. 14, 13, 17, 18. I don't see a 16. Re-rolling. There's multiple 9s. Okay, there's 3 9s so far. Okay, so of you 3, because I didn't give the Addis account away in the first roll, do you all 3 already have Addis? I didn't think about this. These are going to be hard to give away because a lot of my community already has Addis. I should have asked them if I could just extend you guys by 30 days, but it's too late now. Okay, so we'll do it this way. Since I didn't give Addis away on the first giveaway, I'll give both you guys the Addis. So Scrum and Jason, go ahead and email me. And then Lucio, I'll give you an Apex account. So here's my email. Just let me know, hey, it's me, and just let me know what you won. And I'll send you a number to confirm in chat. All right, let's keep going. Let's get this over with. So I've given away what, 2 Apex accounts? Or sorry, two Addis accounts. We've got 1 more. So this is for our last Addis account. Do we have a 26? I don't think so. Oh, by the way, if you guys are in Discord, just send me a Discord message instead of an email. It's way easier. If you guys are not in Discord, then send me an email. I don't see a 26. Re-rolling. I don't see a 41 either. There is a 26? Oh, did I miss somebody? Sorry, let me see. Oh, I'm sorry, there is a 26. So if you're 41, that's my bad. 26. My bad, here you go. Do you already have Addis? Do you already have Addis, XP? Okay, you don't? Awesome. Okay, so send me an email. Send me an email. And that will be it for the Addis giveaways. So now we're going to do 2 Apex accounts. And then we'll finally, the last one, we will do a Discord giveaway. 19. Didn't we already pull? Did I pull 19 already? Oh, we do have a 19. No, I pulled a 9. We do have a 19. I think we only have 1. Chris, are you still here? Let me know if you're here, Chris. This will be for an Apex account. Awesome, you are here. Okay, send me an email. And all of you guys that are emailing me, I'm going to send you a random number to put in chat. Okay, one more Apex account. And then we'll do a Discord account. 26. I already pulled 26. 26, that was XP. Hey, sorry, you already won. You already won. 44. XP getting extra lucky today. Let's see. I don't think we have a 44. Do we have a 44? Do you guys see one? I do not. No 44. All right, one more. 38. We have a 37. Sorry, I wasn't expecting to give away so many things today. It's taking a little longer. Unless I'm blind, I don't think there's a 38 either. I'm gonna roll again. Pretty sure there's a 6. I'm pretty sure I saw one earlier. Actually, I think I'm crazy. I think there's also not a 6. Okay, I'm rolling again. 16 already won, I'm pretty sure. We rolled 16 earlier. Okay, this one should be easy. Someone had to choose one. Churchill, thank God. Churchill, send me an email. This is for an Apex account. If you're in Discord, I don't remember if you're in Discord. If you're in Discord, you can message me in Discord as well. Yeah, send me an email. I'm going to send you a random number to confirm, and then you're good to go. Okay, this is for the Discord access. So this is going to be Discord access for the quarterly, so 3 months. If you already are a Discord member, I'm just going to extend your access by 3 months. $26. There is a 26. You already won, unfortunately. You won 3 times, I think. Holy shit. Okay, unfortunately, XP, you already won. I'm going to re-roll. Okay, there is a 30. Is there more than one 30? I don't think so. Are you still here, Ian? Laptop giveaway is going to be in like 2 weeks. We're not doing that right now. Awesome, you're still here? Okay. Okay, giveaways are over. Let me get you guys all your stuff, and we'll make a little outro here and we'll call it a video. I appreciate you guys all participating. Just send me an email. Let me know what your name is in chat. I'm going to send you a random number to confirm, and then type that number in chat. All right, Ian, I got yours. This is for Discord. I'm going to send you a random number. Yeah, exactly, Sean. Okay, Ian, you're good. Awesome, XP, you're good as well. Chris, I just sent you a random number. Just type that in chat. Same with you, Jason. Leo, you said you already had Addis, right? So you need an Apex account? Gotcha. Okay, I sent you a random number. Just confirm that. Oh, Churchill, you said you can't sign up for Apex. Well, one second here. I think one of you guys... I might be able to fix this. One sec. Churchill, do you have Addis already? Scrum, are you the one that... Did you say you were the number 9 winner? Okay, so this is perfect. You wanted Apex, and Churchill can't sign up for Apex. So Churchill, I'm going to give you the Addis account. And Scrum, I'm going to give you the Apex account. So that works out. Churchill, I sent you the random number just to confirm that in chat. And same thing with you, Scrum. And then we will be good to go. That's everybody. Awesome, Jason. I got you. And for you guys that win the Addis account, I don't have direct access to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send your email to their team, and they're going to grant the access. So I'm not sure how long that will take them, but I'm going to send it to them like right now. So you should have access within the next like 48 hours. Yeah, Chris, I got you. I'm gonna send you guys your promo codes once the stream is over. I don't want to accidentally show the codes on stream. All right, I think I got everybody. Let's do a little outro here, and then we will call it a series. I appreciate you guys all being here. I know it was a long series. It took us like what, 2 months to finish. It was definitely the longest it's taken me to finish a series. We usually do them in like a few weeks. But I think that series will be, or this series will be, some evergreen content on my channel. It will be timeless for the most part, which my channel needs more of. I need more content that doesn't matter if you watch it 5 years down the line, it will still help you, right? So hopefully that will be the case. We'll see. But all right, guys, we're gonna do a little outro here. I'll cut up all this stuff, and then the series will be finally over once these are cut up and put into the playlist on YouTube. All right, guys, I appreciate you watching this Q&A. Thank you guys for being around for this entire series. If you guys have not already, be sure to check out the entire playlist. Once this series is over, they'll all be put into one playlist called Becoming an Apex Trader. So be sure to check those out. There should be 5 main videos and 5 Q&A videos that go with all the main concept videos. Once again, I appreciate you guys all sticking out for this whole series. If you guys enjoyed it, hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace, everybody.